Hey, this is Tom, and I don't really have time to make a video today. I'm super busy, but let's just do it raw on the phone. No editing, no production value, just the information. So if this is your first time here, don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't buy nothing. We don't get nothing to sell, no courses, no nothing. Just listen. So before we get started, as always, the bottom line comes first in every one of my videos. So here's the bottom line. I absolutely loved Alex Karp's interview and specifically his talk about the importance of stock-based compensation and why it's not diluting the actual shareholders who are there for long term. I'm going to talk about that in depth. Also, I'll explain why Palantir is down so heavily over the past week. That is also coming up. There's actual good reason for this. The entire tech sector is down heavily unless you're Tesla or Apple. Everybody's taking massive hits because of rotational aspects. People are moving towards value away from tech. It happens. It's a cyclical market. I'm going to also talk about what Elon just did because it seems that he posted a 1-star review for JP Morgan as he promised. Now, that's actually pretty funny. The review itself is satirical, let's call it this way. But I think we have to talk about what's been going on with JP Morgan and Tesla, because I think what Tesla is going through with JP Morgan isn't really about the money. It's about what I think JP Morgan are doing, which completely disqualifies them for me. If I was any sort of business looking for funding, I wouldn't work with JP Morgan after what they did to Tesla. I'll explain in a second. They pretty much single-handedly, unilaterally changed the price, the stock price of the warrant exercise. I'll explain it in a second. Also, Elon is actually taking shots at Binance for their glitch not allowing people to withdraw Doge, which is kind of insane how long it's been going on, and how Binance actually responded very politically correct on their main account, and how their CEO was a complete chicken shit in his personal account, actually going at Elon, showing that they did a recall, a software recall, and he's like, oh, you do also have malfunctions. Motherfucker, I mean, that's a fucking software update over the internet that took like 10 minutes. What a chicken shit move. I mean, own up to your mistake and actually reply to what they're saying. Also, we have to talk about what's been going on with Elon and his sales. I mean, the dude is already past the half point of him selling $18 billion worth of his stock. It's a lot of money, and the stock price doesn't really seem to care. I mean, it's down like 1% in pre-market. Him selling about $10 billion, give or take, of stock basically did nothing for the share price. People have so much confidence in Tesla, even to the point where the entire stock market and the tech sector is crashing. Tesla, I mean, basically stays put. So kudos to the Tesla community. I mean, they're really proven that they have longevity and kind of a conviction in the stock. Now, I do want to also talk about the oil prices and what's been going on with the Biden administration and the releasing the oil reserves and all that shit. I think it's a political move. I'll explain in a second why. But basically, the US is trying to, prevent fucking with Christmas. So they're going to be releasing their oil reserves to lower the prices down. Basically, not to mess with Christmas. I don't like this move at all because I don't think it has any long-term longevity. I'll talk about that in a second as well. But that's just a quick recap. If you don't have time for the whole video, that's just the bottom line. Now let's go and actually go into a little bit of a detail here. Issue number 1, Alex Karp. I love how these videos are completely unedited, and I just spat on my floor. My goodness. The sort of thing you can only get on an unedited video. Somebody's gonna have to clean it up. So having spat on my floor, disgusting as it may be, let's go to the actual issue at hand. So Alex Karp went on CNBC and he talked about a myriad of issues, living California, China, stock-based comp. Now, I don't really care about the California stuff. It's been it's a dead horse. It's been beaten all the way to California. Let's talk about the stock-based comp in China. Number one, his comments about China were very brave and very uncharacteristic, very non-politically correct. He basically said it flat, like I said. China is the enemy of the US. We don't work with the enemy. Simple. And China is not on the US side. That's why we don't fuck with China. Most CEOs, most executives won't say it because they're either greedy or too chicken shit. He has balls of steel. I absolutely love how he talked about China. It proves to me he has morals and values. That's why I like Alex Karp. Now, what I liked even more when he got asked about, well, what's going on with all these options, the stock-based compensation? You're diluting shareholders. Alex, what's going on? And he basically explained, listen, if you're interested in the long-term success of Palantir, you want us to do 2 things: to be insanely innovative and have the best product and stay ahead of the pack, and you want us to be able to recruit the top of the line talent to do it, because we can't do it if we can't get the top 1% of people to work for our company. It's very hard to do it when you compete with companies that can overpay, like a Google, like a Facebook, like a Tesla. Even at this point, they can't compete with salaries with these companies. The only way they can compete for the top 1% of talent is by giving them a stake in the business, giving them a piece of the business, convincing them to stay. Even if they would have paid the same amounts they pay over there in the FANG companies, it doesn't keep your employee. Once he gets a better offer, he's out. But if you give him a piece of the business, he's there for a long time. It's a stickiness of good employees. So he's basically saying it's like in the law firm, right? Why would 5 partners give up more percentage of their business and put in a 6th partner in place? They're deluding themselves, right? If you think that that 6th partner is going to increase the business so that your less of a percentage now will be worth more, actually makes sense. So the only issue I have with this is that you have to have a faith that Alex Karp and Peter Thiel have an understanding of how to allocate this SBC. Basically, that they're not giving it to bozos. They're giving it to actually good people that will get the job done. But as long as you believe that there can be good judges of talent, and as long as you believe that they're going to give this to smart people, I think that he made a really good point. I mean, if you're a swing trader, you probably want us to do share buybacks and dividends and stuff that pump the stock. But if you have a long-term vision of Palantir becoming one of the biggest companies in the world, you want us to play the long game. And the long game means giving away a lot of our stock to recruit some of the best people so we can compete. And so basically he said, fuck the swing traders. We don't care. We're here long-term. And if you're aligned with us, you shouldn't care about stock-based comp, which I completely agree to. Now let's talk about what happened with Elon Musk. So Elon Musk actually did leave a 1-star review for JP Morgan, basically saying, been there, the service ain't great, they don't accept Doge. Funny, he actually commented about this on Twitter. I don't know if he did the original post, but he did comment on it on Twitter and he laughed out loud. So what happened with the JP Morgan and Tesla is actually very annoying. So basically, JP Morgan bought an option from Tesla. When you buy it from the company, it's actually called a warrant, but it's essentially an option. And that option, like any option, that warrant has a strike price. And in the agreement, they put in the clause, which is completely reasonable and completely standard, is that if the changes of circumstance due to a merger event, if Tesla gets sold to Apple, just giving you examples, there's a major M&A event, merger and acquisition, there's something from a corporate structure that happens that materially changes the valuation of the company, then JP Morgan can actually lower the strike price of the warrant. Essentially, when you lower the strike price of an option, you get the bigger piece of the pie, because if the stock price is here and your strike price was here, but you lowered it, you get that extra difference as more profit. So basically, Elon tweeted the joke with the 420, you remember when he's taking the company private at 420, obviously a joke, and JP Morgan unilaterally decided that, well, that fits the clause of an M&A material change, so we're lowering the strike price on the warrant unilaterally without asking Tesla. Tesla, of course, said no, the fuck not. And they still did it. And when the expiration date came, Tesla repaid the whole warrant as they were mandated, but all the way to the original strike price. And now JP Morgan is saying, well, we still have 160 million based on our set new lower stock price, which I think is a greedy move, for lack of a better word. In my opinion, might be inaccurate, might be wrong, might be remnants of a madman, but my opinion, not as a financial advisor, not as a lawyer, it's a greedy move. Their behavior, in my opinion, allegedly, their behavior basically disqualifies them from any company that has any concern for the rule of law and due diligence and due procedure to ever do business with them. Unless they pay out from this and unless they apologize, I think that pretty much shows their real character. And, not a good look, not good optics for JP Morgan on this. Having a hard time figuring out how they're going to defend this position. I think they tried to bully Tesla. They thought Tesla will settle and they'll get a few bucks out of it. And, Elon is not that kind of guy, so he's not to be messed with. Speaking of Elon, he actually tweeted something very funny. He went at the Binance and basically for not allowing people to withdraw their Doge from Binance for a long time already, since the beginning of the month. And basically that it's a glitch, but he basically said, well, guys, what's going on? This seems a little bit shady. And the company, of course, responded politically correct on their main account, basically saying, well, there's no shadiness here, it's just a malfunction, blah, blah, blah. But then the CEO, on his personal account with the super chicken shit move, he actually went at Elon, basically tweeting that Tesla had a recall, a software recall, and that like, oh, you make mistakes too, motherfucker, why are you talking about us? The only problem is that Elon's recall, so-called recall, was a software update, which they did pretty much within a few minutes, and basically changed nothing for the user experience. And their malfunction is actually costing people money, and a lot of it, and they're not taking responsibility, in my opinion, allegedly. Yeah. So I feel it was a chicken shit move. If you had this to say, you should have put this on the Binance account, not on your personal one. I think that they have a lot of explaining to do. I think Elon is right. Talking about Elon again, he just crossed over the 50% line. $10 billion of Tesla stocks sold already, as promised. He's the most transparent guy I know. He promised on Twitter he's going to sell 10% of his Tesla holdings. He already about 5% more to go. Share price absolutely non-responsive to this. It just shows you the strength of the Tesla community, and it makes me envious. I hope one day, like the Palantir community, would have that fortitude. But just cool to see a community really believing in the product. And all the haters are saying, well, Elon is selling expensive, so you simpletons, you buy it off his hands. Motherfucker, just fucking move on. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on with the oil prices. So oil prices have spiked from $65 just 6 months ago to all the way to up to like $85 in the beginning of November. A really insane spike. And the OPEC countries, OPEC is pretty much, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Congo, Libya, all the nicest places in the world to visit, pretty much. So basically, all of these countries, there's 15 countries who have membership in OPEC, and they basically produce most of the oil in the world. They basically control the oil price by controlling supply. When they want to raise prices, they lower supply. And obviously, there's a lot of pressure from the international community for them to increase the supply, to lower the prices. And they don't want to do it, but it's a very delicate dance. It's a tango. And for a while now that the price has gone up, the US and Europe were pressuring OPEC to increase supply because the price has really gone up too much. And they basically said, nope, fuck you off, pretty much. And then what happened is that President Biden and his administration decided to release 50 million barrels from the strategic petroleum reserves of the United States to basically lower the price, along with the other countries that will do it simultaneously, like China, for example, but they haven't stated the amount of barrels, but I think it will get to 70, 80 million barrels in kind of an attempt to pressure the price to go down. And basically, I think, first of all, it's a misuse of what SPR is, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's supposed to be for hurricanes and emergencies and not to be used to control the market and the market prices. But I think the reason he's doing it, and I understand why he's doing it, is because he doesn't want people to fuck with Christmas. That's why I think he has a very understanding with Jerome Powell about tapering. And now he needs the oil prices to go down because this upcoming month is really sensitive. Nobody fucks with Christmas. I mean, Biden needs the approval numbers. And if the oil price is going to go skyrocketing again during Christmas, he's going to get pretty much screwed. So a political move, not that it's putting the U.S. in any danger. I mean, the U.S. produces about 11 million barrels per day, so 50 million barrels out of the SPR. Not a huge deal, but not a good look for the government using emergency resources to manipulate market prices of oil. Don't really appreciate that move, but my opinion, you guys might disagree with me, and that's okay. Just let me know below what you guys think. As always, a huge shout out to channel members and patrons. I hope you enjoyed this unedited video. I just wanted to do this real quick. I don't have a time for a full video today, but I just wanted to get out there and give you the information. If you want to support the channel, it's $5 per month. The link is going to be below to join. There's literally no value in joining my Patreon. It's just to support the channel. So the content is free. If you just want to watch the videos, just keep watching. It's all good. You don't have to watch Patreon. It's all good. I'll see you tomorrow.